And welcome to Saturday Spotlight. There's an event that's coming up this week. It's dedicated to you and your story. It's called Story Days of Tampa Bay. And joining me now are Jay Sheldon and Lillian Dunlap from Your Real Stories to tell us more about this wonderful event. I love this. We do this every single day. We tell people stories, but you guys are doing it in a very different way. Tell me how this all came about.
Well, we decided some years ago that we really liked the whole notion of storytelling, but we liked telling real stories rather than the made-up kind.
Other stories.
And so after working together for several years, Jay and a few other people, we came across a really good story that we couldn't avoid, and that was the Decades of Day Work series that we finally put together based on the movie The Help. So what we did after seeing The Help, or knowing that it was coming out, was to go get real stories of people who had been maids and real stories of people who had hired maids and their children and their families, and talked about those stories.
And my, has that blossomed.
Yes, it has.
Into Decades of Day Work. What are you at, 4 or 5 now? Somewhere
We've
along
done
those
5.
lines?
We've done 5.
Yeah, that's great. And then now it's led to Story Days. Tell me about Story Days Tampa Bay and what people can expect from that.
We've partnered with many organizations in St. Pete and Tampa, so on both sides of the bay, and you will see dance, hear poems, there's music, workshops, seminars about storytelling and how to write a story, or whether or not you should write your memoir.
That's great. A lot of people don't take the time to write down family history, for example, and that sort of thing is very important. We have some video we can show you from one of the events, I guess this was last year, where people just perform other people's stories on stage. I love this. So tell me about what that is all about.
Well, usually what we do, first of all, what we do, we call theatrical journalism.
Love it.
Because it combines those two very powerful things. And so we go to people's homes, we interview them, we get their whole story, as we did with you.
Yeah, I was going to say, we did the same thing, talked about my mother, my grandmother, and grandfather, which was great.
It's a great story.
Yeah.
So after getting the story, then we create a script, we hand it to a professional actor. The actor presents the story on stage. And then the wonderful part is when the original storyteller meets the actor and the audience sees whose story they just heard.
Oh, isn't that great?
It is.
Why is it important to do this kind of thing and to document these stories?
Well, it's to introduce the community to itself, and the clips that you just showed are from St. Pete Stories, which was another one of our projects. And we've done 4 installments of St. Pete Stories, and we're continuing them, just ongoing.
I love it.
Yeah. And it's what we do is we'll interview people and then tell their stories through theater, and make sure that we choose stories from different parts of the community. So you might go to hear your story, but you'll be introduced to someone who lives in a different neighborhood, who has a different background, different history, so that we actually get to learn more about our neighbors.
Funny thing, you meet your neighbors and learn your neighbors, you learn more about your whole community, right?
And more than that, you learn more about yourself.
Yeah, very much so.
Listening to somebody else's story, you make that connection. You hear something about yourself that you.
It's a great event that takes place all week. And thank you, ladies, so much for coming in. We're going to show the information for people to take a look at it. You can get more information by going to yourrealstories.org. And again, the events take place on both sides of the bay.
Both sides of the bay.
From October 3rd through the 8th. Thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate it. Wish you great success, and we'll see you next week when I come for day 1 too. I want to definitely be a part of it. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Appreciate it.